The French Open gets underway on Monday, but will Novak Djokovic, Carlos Alcaraz or a new contender come out on top in Rafael Nadal's absence? There are no Rafa Nadal, Andy Murray or Emma Raducanu, or any British women in the singles, at this year's French Open. But there are still lots of potential storylines at the second Grand Slam of the season, which starts on the red clay of Roland Garros on Sunday. Can Novak Djokovic reach 23? Rafa Nadal's domination at Roland Garros, he has won the title 14 times, made some years too predictable. But the hip injury to the Spanish superstar means the men's singles in Paris this year is more open with half a dozen players in the running. Nadal and Djokovic have been locked together on 22 Grand Slams since his winning return to the Australian Open in January. This will be the first time the Serb, now 36, can take the outright lead in the GOAT race after trailing Roger Federer and Rafa Nadal for most of his career. Djokovic, who can draw level with Serena Williams on 23 Grand Slam singles titles with a third triumph here, said, "It's no secret that one of the main reasons I play today and compete in professional tennis is to try to break more records and make more history in tennis. That's extremely motivating and inspiring for me. History being on the line is something that is very flattering and is very motivating. No doubt about it. Obviously Nadal not playing in the tournament here is a big loss for tennis, is a big loss for Roland Garros, because he's by far the most successful player to play in the history of this tournament. So of course it opens up a chance and opportunity for the rest of us to try to get a title, because whenever he plays he's an absolute favorite here or any clay court tournament, for that matter. So I think the tournament is quite open, to be honest. Maybe a few guys that are at the top of the favorites list. But anyone can take it. I am hoping it can be me. He has slipped down to world number 3 after his quarterfinal defeat to Holger Rune in Rome and is scheduled to face world number 1 Carlos Alcaraz in the semis here. Is Carlos Alcaraz the real favorite? Since Roger Federer's 2018 Australian Open triumph, Djokovic and Nadal have won 16 out of the 19 Grand Slams. And the Serb has declared himself free of injuries in Paris. Djokovic listed Holger Rune, Casper Ruud, Jannik Sinner, Alex Zverev and Stefanos Tsitsipas as potential winners but declared the Spanish world number 1 was the biggest favorite. The world number 3 explained, because he's number 1 in the world, and he's a player that won big titles on clay this season. So right now, he is the biggest favorite regardless of the fact that he has, 1 Grand Slam and I have 22. We look at the last few months and the kind of shape and the form that he's having and that I am having. I think he's a slightly bigger favorite. Alcaraz said, "For me, it's still crazy to see myself in top 1 seed in a Grand Slam. But at the same time, it is great. I am really happy to be number 1 seed here in Roland Garros." Is the new Big 3 in women's tennis for real? Poland's Iga Swiatek, Belarusian Aryna Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina have won every major since Ash Barty retired in March last year. And Sabalenka will replace the Pole as world number 1 if she follows her Australian Open triumph with the Paris title. But Eurosport analyst John McEnroe is backing Swiatek to extend her 62-week reign at the top of the rankings. "On clay she's just a step above everyone," said the American legend. "But I think Sabalenka and Rybakina can blow her off the court. They are such big hitters, big servers, particularly Rybakina. I don't know if you can do that long enough, but it is 2 out of 3 as opposed to the best of 5, so I think those type of players can cause problems. But I would still pick Swiatek." World number 3 Jessica Pegula added, "It's kind of fun to have more of a big 3 on the women's side. I still think anybody can win any tournament any week, but I think they've definitely stepped up, obviously." Will political tensions from Ukraine reach Paris? Belarusian Aryna Sabalenka has claimed it is okay if Ukrainian Marta Kostyuk, hates me, before their first-round political grudge match on court Philippe Chatrier at 10 a.m. UK time on Sunday. World number 39 Kostyuk has been a vocal critic of the invasion of her homeland, and the failure of Russian and Belarusian players to condemn the war. The Ukrainian claimed, "They don't say anything bad, but they don't say anything good either." Australian Open champion Sabalenka stated, "If I could, I would stop it." But asked about the personal ill feeling from Kostyuk before their first meeting since the war. The world number 2 added, "I don't want to waste my energy on this kind of stuff. It's none of my business. So if she hates me, okay. I can't do anything about that. There are going to be people who love me. There are going to be people who hate me. If she hates me, I don't feel anything like that to her.